Now the stream's going.
You want me to leave and then come back?
No.
There we go.
Well, howdy, 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 everybody. Another Thursday night, another show. I'll have my camera on in just a minute so y'all can see everybody. But want to say go to YouTubeMobileBuilders.com. There you can check the schedule for the shows. Let's see, I think next weekend, the 18th, we've got Big Bill. Who is Big Bill talking to? He's going to have Ron Perry on the show with him, and that'll be rather interesting. Like I've said before, a bunch of us are going to be at the Kansas City, Missouri NRA train convention. I'll be there, so just look for me wearing my YouTube Mall Builder shirt. The one I'll be wearing will have my name on it too, so if you see me, Andy, DeBob, Ron's Trains and Things, come on up and say hey to us. We'll be glad to talk to you and see you. So, and there'll be a few other YouTubers there too. James Wright, I think. Yeah, James Wright's going to be there too. He does product reviews. I'm sure a lot of y'all have watched those. He'll be there. Him and DeBob usually go to shows together and all. So, anyway, we'll get over here and see who's going on and what's going on. Panel. Hey, there's Cabana Bob. How you doing, Bob?
Oh, doing good. Hello, everybody. Oh, there I am. Hi.
Yeah, we got a slight delay here. So, now let's see who all we got in the chat here. Yeah, we got Dwight, Bill, Lee, Hillbilly. Hey, here comes Tim on the panel.
What's up, Johnny?
Howdy. Brian. Getting a little echo from you there, Dwight. I mean, Tim.
Okay, yeah, I got that other speaker on. Hang on.
Kind of hard for Dwight to echo since he's in the chat, not on the panel. All right, either one of y'all got anything going on? I know, Bob, you were talking about you're going to be moving here pretty soon, so you don't have a layout going.
It's just long. Any day I get off is long days, usually just packing and going through years of stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not my stuff. But it's getting there. I'm finding all sorts of unusual things, like all the old memories things that people find when they do stuff like this, Oh, yeah, it's been packed away for 50 years. It's about time it came out to see the light of day.
Well, let me correct you. I found this out long years ago. I was reading something and it was in there where we say we have stuff packed away and we
Yeah,
come across it when we're moving or whatever.
right.
That's not stuff packed away. Those were
Okay.
time capsules that you created at the time of the move.
Well, I have plenty of time capsules around here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing what you accumulate.
Oh, yeah.
The worst part I had, and it's just a quick backing up a little bit, is my dad, mom, and sister, they all passed away in the last 15 years, and they were hoarders. So that didn't make our life any better either.
Uh,
So, oh, it's
I'm
been,
not exactly a hoarder, but yeah, I guess I could be called a pack rat.
yeah. But it's been interesting 15 years at least trying to clean up this mess. So, um, finally getting down to my stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry, he just popped in. Yeah, we got Nathan Delay. He's working on getting his computer set up. We've tried once and found out he didn't have Chrome. He just let me know he's got Chrome. So we'll get him set up the next few days and he'll be on the show next week then probably. We'll get to see what kind of good stuff he's doing. How you doing, 3Rail? He said train time. Dwight's over. Johnny found things out that was before man invented the wheel. Ha ha ha. Dwight, I'll get you for that. Maybe I'll see you at the Kansas show too, huh? Notice the cynical laugh at the end of that statement. Yeah, Billy, what's happening?
Let's see.
No, I'm trying to repair a laptop tonight.
Yeah, BNSF 1982. I hope tonight goes better too. I can't handle much more of this. YouTube failures, my software crashing.
Just general uh, computer glitching.
Yeah, I never had software crash before. Yeah, Dwight's asking what I've been doing train-wise. Not a thing for about the past 2 months. I've been too busy with, let's just say, life. It got rather complicated. But hopefully in the next few months he'll get back to normal again. If there's such a thing for me. Jack, how you doing? Looks like Mr. Pat's about to make an entrance on the panel.
Hey guys, good evening.
How you doing, Pat?
Not too bad. How about you, Johnny?
Yeah, we need to get you to turn your volume up a little bit there, please. How you doing, Howie, man? Oh, very funny, hillbilly. Don't forget, you're a lot closer than Dwight is. Yeah. So how's things going with you, Pat?
Oh, not too bad.
Well, that's good. Kind of getting settled in from the move and all.
Yeah, getting settled in, getting everything set up.
Yeah, it seems like we got people just moved in, some fixing to move out.
Robert's getting one of them.
Yeah, and I get stuck right here. I'm just too much of a southern boy. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a little anxious for Bill's next show coming up. See what all Ron's got to say, what he's working on. Yeah, yeah. Hillbilly said, "I'm staying in the hills where it is safe." Yeah, yeah. Good place.
Yeah, that's where I'm heading. Is Knoxville. It sounds good to me. It's going to be an interesting area to explore for the next so many years.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go a lot further than that. He said, Southern boy here, too, south of Chicago.
Well, I'm officially north side of Chicago right now. And it's driving me up the wall, so I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can share something here.
I guess I could turn my camera back on, couldn't I?
Let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Okay.
Gentlemen,
Howdy, Andy.
What's happening, Andy?
how are you fellas?
You'll like what I'm doing, Andy.
Yeah, that used to be fun stuff. I don't actually get tearing computers down that much anymore, though.
It stopped charging. The power plug over here was busted out and locked loose, so I couldn't get it to plug in.
I've had to replace so many of those. You could buy that jack for like $2 or $3. I used to do those years ago. Replace the barrel jack.
The case was busted, is what the problem was.
Okay, epoxy then.
Super glue.
Yeah, that'll work for a while. Super glue is pretty brittle. If it do that, it'll hold up for a while. If and when it ever breaks again, just go in there and scratch the super glue back off. Use some epoxy. Stuff will last. It'll last longer than the laptop will last, most likely.
Well, if it breaks again, I also added some styrene in behind it, so hopefully it'll help sturdy it.
Yeah.
But if it breaks again, I'll just see about getting her a new laptop. She's had this one for a couple years now, so. This is just to get her by until we can get her a new one.
Oh, I've fixed that for people before, laptops last years and years after. So, should be fine.
I've thought about getting a hold of Acer because Acer tablet and just seeing about getting a new case for it.
Oh yeah, well you can buy the plastic on eBay. I bought them used, bought them parts systems, and took cases apart to get, especially the hinges. The hinges, I've done that.
Yeah, this has got them double hinges on it, so the screen actually flips all the way around.
Yeah, I kind of like those. I just got to do. I got to do Windows machine recently. I bought a Surface. Those are super handy, and there's an app that supports JMRI, so it's a little bit intense to use a big 10-inch tablet effectively. A Windows computer carried around as a throttle and what have you. But those touchscreen interfaces make a spectacular tower interface for the JMRI panel program, being able to touch screen with it.
Yeah, Howie Mann said fix it and then use it to control stuff on your railroad.
Yeah, you don't need much of a computer to run the railroad. I mean, I've got numerous machines here. There's a Windows computer in the corner for the tower and whatever, and the Mac server and laptops. I mean, various machines, and I run JMRI on a Raspberry Pi, dedicated system. Does everything. Oh yeah, like what Tim's got. I mean, that's the way to have that as a dedicated system. So whenever upgrades ever break your system with Windows, whatever, nothing ever messes with your JMRI. You can count on that system working.
The other thing too, Andy, my club, we do JMRI. Our operations are all done on tablet instead of pen and paper.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of that. Not to mention, and it depends on your style of operation, but I'm not a big fan of car cards and waybills. I've talked about on here before. We've talked about operations. They're okay. They're a great method for operating. Like it just fine. The problem with typical car cards and waybill systems is they get repetitive. So on your own railroad, it tends to get repetitive. There's ways to get around it, but if you do one of the systems like switch lists, especially, that works spectacularly well from a tablet or something. I got like 5 iPods, latest generation iPod Touch device to use as a throttle because they fit spectacular in one hand, and I put tough cases on them, which I generally wouldn't like on my phone, that big behemoth of a case, but I got like life-proof cases on them, so they'll take a beating and drop them, but then lanyard hook on them, so lanyard around your neck, you've got that throttle, volume rockers, make the locomotive, control speed. It's a pretty good arrangement. And I'm going to do all my operations right on the device.
Yeah, I just use the Raspberry Pi for a server, and I got the Kindle that I use for the throttle, or I can use my phone.
Absolutely. Yep. And tablet's is a good throttle. I could see somebody liking that. Now, I'm going to do my operations on the iPods, and I do use a 7-inch tablet sub as a throttle. And if I decided that I preferred that, I would buy more of those tablets and use, and I might. That 7-inch tablet fits well in one hand. An iPad does not. Even the iPad mini is not great. You can't hold it in one hand and easily hit the volume rockers. But this little 7-inch Android tablet I've got works well for that. A throttle needs to be workable with one hand.
Yeah, Dwight says an iPhone has more power than the Moonlander had. So that means the Moonlander was less than 3 volts?
Actually, you want to hear better than that. The first iPhone, as slow as it was, had more power than the entirety of NASA in 1969 when they put those men on the moon. The entirety of NASA. That's the first generation iPhone.
Well, we can tell Andy's a geek because what I just said went over his head.
Yeah, I got distracted by the power metrics of a computer. Yeah.
Well, they used to say them little calculator watches that everybody was wearing back in the late 80s, early 90s were more powerful than the entirety of NASA
Maybe.
during the lunar landing.
Well, they had some. There was, they had a lot of computing power for the time. It was just, things changed with computers, and they changed really quickly.
It's because we reverse engineered an alien ship after the lunar landing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the one we found on the dark side, and then after Ross. Hang on, I've got aluminum foil. I've got to make a hat. Then we'll carry this on.
So, anybody else going to go to the Kansas City convention coming up next month?
Yeah, I might be going.
I still wish, but I ain't got any vacation time left.
Have you ever heard that? It's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Yeah, that was said by somebody who didn't have a full-time job they had to keep.
Yeah, didn't have four kids and a wife to support.
That's right. Or in other cases, doesn't have a wife like mine. So,
Duck Andy.
Oh, she'll probably admit it. She's high maintenance.
BNSF 1982 said he'll be there. So look around. You'll probably find me and Andy or DeBob wandering around there somewhere. I know we got Marty from down under. He and his wife are going to be up here for the convention. And then they're going on a vacation after that, up to Alaska. I sing strange to things. Hey, bye. His phone's at 1%, so he was saying hey, bye.
Howdy, bye.
I got cords for that. Fix that right up.
Hey, Curtis, how you doing? He just popped in. BNSF 1982 said he's going to Steamtown. See Sparky.
Man, I'd love to go. I'd love to see Steamtown sometime. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, well, you know, Sparky seems to be a good old fellow, but if I go to Steamtown, I think I go see trains.
Well, yes. The point is, I want to go see the local. Well, especially after listening to Chris Root talk about everything they've got up there, because he's wanting to model that, the museum of Steamtown. I really would love to go up there sometime.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's on my bucket list. That is my list that I have for whenever I get a bucket to put something in.
So how many buckets do you have, Andy?
Oh gosh. They'll all lay out up at one time. I just don't have. That's a very southern saying, though, is to have a pot. Don't have a pot to pee in. So when I get a pot to pee in, then I'll worry about whether I can afford to go to Steamtown sometime.
Understand.
I do have plenty of buckets, though. At one time, I held the whole railroad up with them and stuff. Everybody around here picked on me for, and they still don't cut me much slack for my tripods.
Oh yeah, we don't. There's no slack.
Well, I mean, it might actually be just easier to say they don't cut me any slack for like just full stop. But particularly my bucket contraptions for a long time, because I just could not make my mind up on putting a layout this tall, considering how short I am, especially. So, and everybody picked on me for it, but I had a hard time deciding I wanted to go mount this thing permanently, you know, at 60 inches off the floor. I didn't know anybody else was building a layout that high, so.
Yeah, Howie Man said they have steam diesel and street cars at Steamtown.
Yeah, supposedly, actually, Bill was telling me, Big Bill was telling me about the museum in New York. It's like a streetcar museum. I'd like to do that one too. Subway museum probably, but I think that's streetcars too.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll probably have some streetcars because that's what New York had to start with. Jerry and Hillbilly must have the same brand of bucket, because they got holes in their buckets.
Huh? Yeah, I can empathize.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight said the museum in Rockford, Illinois has all three too.
Is the one at Dwight the one at Rockford? Is that the one that has the UP turbine that they it's the Illinois Transport Museum or something, Transportation Museum?
It's the Illinois Railway Museum in Union, Illinois.
Okay, that's the one that like Scale Trains went to, did the video of where they measured that thing with 3D. That's a nice museum too.
It's they have a pretty large collection. Sometimes people say it's like they have a great collection, but sometimes they don't have enough volunteers to help with what they really need. But they got a lot going for them.
Well, that's always the case. I mean, the whole, you got to remember the whole reason that, and people need to remember the whole reason that steam in general and even first-gen diesel stuff, the whole reason that the railroad industry evolved the way that it did today was based on maintenance. That stuff was manpower intensive.
The one thing about the Illinois Railway Museum I can really tell you about is I've been going since the 70s when they first took on their property, and in those days it was more farmland than anything. But it's grown considerably. But a lot of the equipment, they have a very good repertoire with railroads that they're able to get equipment easily.
Yeah.
And so that's what some maybe might be considered a problem, but actually it's working out because they're saving the history of railroading.
Absolutely.
And they're expanding. They got plans.
Well, they got like
a nice little town. They got plans to bring the trolley loop toward the back and come into the town. So they got a lot on their bucket list, so to speak.
Well, they got like 170 acres now or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't get there last summer. I was there 2 summers ago. I'm trying to get there this year. It's just massive.
We went a few years ago, more than a 2-day.
Yeah, they have a lot going for them. But they've been around for a long time. They started in, the late 50s, I believe, when they acquired stuff, and they were in North Chicago before they got the land in Union.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this for a long time.
I mean, that's where Scale Trains went to go get their dimensions and some of the measurements for the big blows.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I knew of that museum from watching it on.
You have one of the big blows there.
The Tennessee Valley Museum, Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum in Chattanooga is pretty good too. That's at one time the NMRA was based out of Chattanooga. They're real close to what they call the Chattanooga Choo-Choo, which is the old depot. Right. And there was a diner, and there's a good sized model railroad at one point. I assume still is for a public display style layout, and that's where they've had the J. I think the J's at the Virginia Transportation Museum right these days, but but they've had it there. They do have it there at times. They have running steam, you know, that they put under steam. At least on the weekends in the summer, they put it under steam and run around a little bit of track they have there.
Is that the one that's directly next to the old NMRA building?
Yeah, it was all. That's
Okay.
where the Choo Choo is at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum, and the NMRA was there, and it was all like in this series of just a couple buildings.
Yeah, I never got to the Choo Choo, but about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a situation I had to go down to Georgia for my son, and we stopped at the NMRA building before they left it, and got to go into the parking lot of the museum. But the museum does have a live webcam.
Oh yeah,
that's operated.
that's cool. I didn't know that.
That seems to be my thing. Sometimes I'll just sit here all day and watch live webcams across the country.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people in our community that watch those. I think, and I mean to put a TV in here at some point. I haven't even got one. I just haven't got around to hanging it up in here. So that that would be a good thing to have as something ambient on the TV when I was listening to a book or something. Which is pretty much how I watch TV. I don't generally watch TV very actively.
Right.
Yeah, Ralph just come in. He said he's having computer problems, so he can't get on the panel right now.
Here's some pictures from the Illinois Rail Museum.
Well, your phone probably worked too, Ralph. You just, of course, you probably have to plug it up because it puts a hurting on the battery. And then after the show, give me a shout or something. I'll see if we can help you out with your computer.
I have that.
Oh yeah.
Have a map.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a little slope back to there, a little dockside or a little small quarter or something with a locomotive up.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So, Tim, how far are you from the museum?
How far am I?
Yeah.
I'm in southern Indiana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm in Charlotte, so it's just like a hop, skip, and jump.
Yeah.
Give you an idea. Let's see, where am I at? Oh,
my wife's grandmother lives up there at Joliet.
Right. Okay.
And I was up there for training for Daimler Trucks North America at the time, so we just went ahead and shot up to Union the day before.
Okay.
And
this Santa Fe sign, there was a big controversy over it because it was a Chicago landmark on the roof of the Railway Exchange building, and then when Motorola kind of moved into the building, it vanished, and they put their name on the roof. And luckily, the Illinois Railway Museum acquired it and restored it.
Have you seen the video? Was fairly high ranked on YouTube recently about Ford had bought the old Grand Central Station in Detroit and was rebuilding that station. Somebody had stolen the clock off from it, and they mentioned on the radio somebody brought the clock back to them and just left it at the front door or something. So, but they're reclaiming a lot of these. I've seen several videos recently about major railroad infrastructure. I mean, a lot of that stuff was just huge structures. So, find some use for those buildings.
Oh, here we go. I found this one. Let me hit this one. Hit it. So here you go. Here's the big blow. Here's the full length of it.
yeah.
Oh, that's a cute little thing. Man, that is a behemoth. I've said before, I don't just buy. A lot of people do. I have no condemnation for those that do. A lot of people, and I used to be one who just went in and bought whatever I liked and ran whatever. Now I'm real particular, and I want to run a certain thing. But that's one of the very few pieces of bottle kit of whatever kind, locomotives or anything else, that I really, really did want to buy one, even though I couldn't operate it on my layout under normal circumstances. But they're just such a beautiful model.
And then, of course, 1630 just was restored in the last few. It took a number of years, but they just brought it back in the last couple of years. So, yeah, I have trouble walking, but I made sure I got to the back end of the museum.
Yeah, my wife was about 8 months pregnant when we went.
Oh gosh, well that's pain out. I only have slight arthritis.
And we spent almost all day there.
Yeah, it's one of those, and that's basically what, you know, the one ticket price. You know, you get in for the price, and then you can ride all day, and they have plenty to ride, and they bring stuff out consecutively for every little thing. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't. When we were up there, it was like almost 5 years ago.
All right.
And they didn't have any steam at the time. They didn't have any steam running.
Right. It was. Oh yeah, here we go. Just real quick, a minute ago, I mentioned that they're trying to start this town, and here's the start of it. They actually have a number of buildings in storage. This building here was just supposedly opened recently, and I have to check it out, as their company store. Or it's either this building or another one, and they're making this town, as you can tell. So it's the start of a town back there.
Yeah, they had when we were up there, the gift shop was just the semi trailer that they had, or box car, or whatever it was they were using.
Yeah, I don't know where the pictures would be. And this is the last photo I'm going to show you guys. This is like, I really had to haul my butt all the way to the rear for this one. Come on. What happened here? Uh-oh. I did something wrong.
No, just click the picture that you wanted. Okay. Once you get the screen share started, because you're on a single screen monitor.
Yeah, I tried to avoid hitting it. This is like one of the... He had to haul my butt all the way to the back of the museum for this one. This is their trolley loop they have, and they kind of hid this here billboard back there. For people that don't know Riverview, which most people don't, it was a very well-known amusement park in the north side of Chicago. Opened in the 1900s early and torn down in 1967. So, catering to Chicago history. Oh, hello. Hey. Hello, Ralph.
Hello.
Nothing when I was talking.
Hey, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, barely.
All right.
There, it's better.
Where?
Well, we got another one going to the dark side. Gary Ashley is going. That's just getting started with change to N scale.
Yeah.
Coming for HO.
Did you say you suggested that?
What did you do with my paintbrushes?
Might want to check your mic setting, Ralph. I don't think it's picking up the headphone.
Hang on.
And that's the way we like it, Chris. Chris Root says, wow, the panel is quiet without me. LOL. Oh, okay. Jerry said he's wanting to collect all 23 named trains post World War II for display.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be spectacular.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Chris over going, I know you miss me, Johnny. Yeah, Jerry said Ralph moved into a retirement condo. No room for HO.
Well, Jerry did.
Yeah. BNSF 1982 said he's put his, I put mine in a 16 by 12 triple deck shed.
Nice. Nice. Is the layout triple deck or the shed?
The shed, I believe. Yeah, he said shed. Yes, Chris, Andy's fine. He's just working on the layout.
You know how he gets when he starts to do something.
Yeah, I start thinking my way through something. When I start getting answers, I start doing stuff with it.
Yeah, Chris is saying check Andy's blood pressure, either give him some chocolate milk.
Oh, I've never bored about that far away from chocolate milk, so.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike said that I've operated exclusively in HO for 49 years. Just started operating on Joe Desmond's N-scale Conrail layout. Quite a change. Yeah, our condolences, Mike. Don't tell Joe I said that.
Yeah, I think N-scale is probably the future of the hobby in a lot of ways. I've said that before too. You could do a lot more in safe space. The quality of stuff is getting a lot better. The attention to detail of a lot of modelers these days is quite high. So it's good. As an operator, N-scale is still a bit tedious. If you're running trades, N-scale lets you run spectacularly long trades. And if you're just one or two close-knit people, operating N-scale is not a problem. But guest operators seem to struggle when N-scale's so small. That's probably going to improve at some point, but as of yet, until they make some coupler improvements, N-scale's a little more tedious.
Yeah, BNSF said the shed is one level, the layout is triple deck.
Yeah, I don't think you can build a building that high, 3-story or something. Triple, that's a pretty good arrangement. That's the compromise. I would have a single deck layout. I would do a mushroom, so there would be stacked decks the way Joe Fugit done his. If you don't know what a mushroom is, go look that up. Joe Fugit's is reasonably famous as the mushroom style. I would do that, but my layout will all be on a single deck if I have more room. But another thing I've said before, model railroading is like a choose-your-own adventure book and a choose-your-own compromise. And while I'd love to have it on a single level, I needed the mainline run for timetable and trade order. And without a mainline run, I just couldn't do that. So I'm going to take 4 levels.
With that theory, Andy, every day is different ending to that book.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have. I mean, I don't rethink my compromises every single day. It seems like most of the problems I have on the layout are between one of a couple compromises. What's the best compromise? Like all this complexity I've had to do for the top of the helix. It's all. Do I want the complexity of that? Do I want the way the layout, the track works with that? Or do I want to maintain my directional purity and sincere track design? Of course, I would still keep sincere track design, but or whatever. Sincere for a single track, I was saying, and directional purity means on my layout, anytime you're standing in front of the layout looking at the track, you are looking north. West is always to your left, east is always to your right, like on a map. Makes it really easy to get your orientation when you're operating. But there was a good way for me to get out of this track design for the top level, which is reasonably complicated, several loop backs and such. The only way to get out of that was to give up directional purity or various other compromises. But it was choose my compromise.
Yeah,
Chris Ruder, if you're still there, mark this on the calendar. Andy says he compromises.
Oh yeah, yes. Don't tell my wife, but yes, I compromise sometimes. You have to.
Yeah, Mike said the problem with N scale is the lack of mass. Any little thing can knock one or more cars off the track. Can get very frustrating.
No doubt, but I think you could correct for some of that now that the equipment has got more powerful. So NMRA weighting standards for any of the scales are based on a minimum standard, and they're based on for people who don't have a tremendous amount of experience necessarily, and for manufacturers. So you should take the car to at least this level, and for most operators, people, especially with their first few layouts, all the cars being weighted equally makes sense. You can make forward and back movements without having to think about operation. On my layout, empty cars are very light, and heavy cars are very heavy. So you can't push loaded cars with empty cars. They crumple up like aluminum foil on the prototype, and in my case, the tray won't stay on track. But I do about 2.5 times NMRA spec. So I'd imagine if you took an N-scale box car or something and just stuffed that little guy full of wheel weights or ball bearings or something, I think they feel like they have more. They do have more mass. So that little problem I've had with HO scale, you go up to bump a car to the coupling, you push the car down the track because the springs are stronger than the coupling. If you weight a box car 10, 11, 12 ounces, coal cars 13, 14 ounces, I assure you, when you bang them, they will couple.
Yeah, Chris said Andy compromises all right. Then he talks himself out of
it. Good point. That's because he overthinks it.
I build. Overthinking is when you get into what Mike Hoffman and probably a whole lot of other people have called analysis paralysis. If you do that, if you are thinking to the point of not acting, you are overthinking. But
how long have you had the rods for your helix hanging from the ceiling? You were gung ho there for quite a while, and then all of a sudden, bang! It stopped dead.
I'm pretty gung ho, but I had to figure it out. I'm having to figure this out as I go. I don't know anybody else who's built a layout hanging from the ceiling like this. A 3 triple deck arrangement with 3 interlaced and stacked helixes, all built on a styrofoam without a single stick of lumber. It does have some aluminum rods and such in it, and it's hanging from the ceiling. So, yeah, I don't have a playbook for that. It's taken me a little bit to figure out, and Ralph's helped me figure out a lot of it, but he should have. he's the one responsible for planting this crazy seed of an idea about hanging it from the ceiling. But it is a good idea.
I get blamed for it. Okay.
It is your fault that it was a very good idea when you come up with it. So
You took it and ran with it.
no question about it. And I'm in love with the idea of it. And I'm sure, and I've climbed around in the insulation of the attic and everything, getting rods in. So, but
And then you tripped and fell. So we're still waiting for you to get up.
Well, I think this guy goes back to that famous commercial we had back here in the U.S. Just give it to Mikey. He likes everything.
Yeah, right.
yeah. I do like a good, crazy idea, an original idea, a unique idea. It's this is gonna be perfect for me. And under the peninsula, I put a couch and a coffee table, couch and an ottoman, something like that. Be able to hang out like trains. And that's the best arrangement. And considering that all the aisles in here are 2 feet, it's narrow. I packed as much railroad in here as I possibly can. There's no place to really hang out in here, but hanging the helix or hanging all this from the ceiling and the layout being at 5 foot off the floor, I've got a bunch of room underneath this thing.
That's your crew lounge.
Yeah, and I should have quite a bit of room in the workshop as I, use up my styrofoam and stuff that I've got in there. And that'll probably make for that kind of space too, because I do want my workshop to be hackable, outable in. So, having a TV and stuff, so if I'm sitting in there working on stuff or hanging out with you guys, of course, while I'm working on stuff, staging and such goes through there as well.
Boy, Chris is wound up tonight.
What's he giving me a hard time for this time?
Not being on panel. That's a show in itself. Repeat all this stuff he's been talking.
I think he should jump in.
That's right.
There's room for 2 more. Oh, more than that.
Well, that bridge is looking spectacular, Andy.
I'm getting
Did you carve all that at the bottom of it?
What's that?
You carve all this stuff at the bottom of it, like the dental molding around the top, at the bottom pedestal of those bridges that you call the pedestal. It has
Lincoln.
No. The footings for each arch.
Yeah, right. That'd be good. Yeah, the footing. Still like it's got the carved lines in it, the dental molding at the top.
I'm not following.
That's all right.
Yeah, I barely hear you, Andy.
Your arch comes down, and it meets a big square block, and the square block has lines in it.
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh, I did all that on a table saw.
Oh, okay, makes sense. With a dado blade or something.
Just turned no, not a dado blade. All I did is I turned the blade 90 to a 45 and just scratched.
Oh, okay, sure.
So I did that also on over on here, but I did them much deeper down here than I did up here.
Yeah.
If I can get in closer.
Wow.
It's getting there.
Pretty spectacular, brother. It sure is.
So for anybody that's going to Kansas City, you'll get a chance to see this bridge in real life.
Yes.
As part of a modular layout.
Yep. Well, the Fremo.
Kudos to you, man.
I even had thoughts about taking it to the St. Louis prototype meet, but I don't know if I'll get nothing done in time.
Yeah, I was wanting to go to that too, but next weekend, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was thinking I would go. It's been a couple years since I've been, so it is a pretty good show, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that one's probably closer to me. I think it's probably about a 4-hour drive. for me.
Is this the one in St. Louis?
It's actually Collinsville, Illinois, which is a suburb outside of St. Louis.
Oh, now that's a different one. Collinsville is the Naperville one, right?
No, that's the St. Louis one. Is in Collinsville, Illinois.
Okay, good deal. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, I went a couple years ago, and it was a good show. People were great. They had the figures.
I think got one in Chicago coming up.
Yep.
I don't remember when it is. I might make it to that one.
That's supposed to be one of the most premier RPM shows in the country. It's the Chicago one. St. Louis does okay, but at Marfa, the Mid-Atlantic out on the East Coast, that's pretty good. I mean, the I think there's a bright future for the RPM shows.
All right, BNSF 1982 question: can you ballast with sand?
Yeah, sure. Run a magnet over it. If you're doing end scale, it's about right anyway. I'd mix it out with
wrap your magnet in nylon stocking, then run it over it. That
Right.
way, none of the metal filings stick to the magnet itself when you go to put it away.
Yep. What I do is my magnet. I got a bag with a little handle on it. I stick the whole thing in a zip top bag, turned inside out. And then whatever I've done, I can turn the little zip top bag over, and all the junk is in that little bag, and then I can go dump it out with any little flakes. But because they're hard to dig off that magnet, some of them are.
See, I knew you're not just a pretty face.
Right, not
And
just.
I use that term loosely, but
That's right. I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see how a module sits for parking the computer on it. There you go.
you know, Andy, you're making me think of building a miniature like that for the top of my gate.
Like what?
A miniature bridge like his for the top of my gate.
Well, I
Yeah.
could probably set you up with one pair of arches.
That's too tall.
Just the arches. I didn't have the, like, from here on up. I have one pair sitting around, and that it was the first pair I made, and they changed the thickness of the MDF, the 1/4-inch MDF.
Oh,
And I said, "Oh, you SOBs."
yeah.
So how tall an area is that you're working in, Ralph? What's that? A foot? Maybe 14 inches back there?
There? From
Yeah.
there to the ceiling, from this level right here up to the ceiling, I got about 4 feet.
Well, I mean, but for where your arches are going to go, between those two track levels. Is that what
Oh.
you're talking about doing it for? Is that upper track
Yeah, that's probably about 8 inches
level? Okay.
from the lower deck to the upper deck.
So the viaduct, especially stone viaduct, looks spectacular there, but it'd have to be fairly small arches.
Or one big single one, you know?
Absolutely.
Real,
Elliptical, big, wide.
yeah.
I think I'd have the tendency to want to use like 3 small arches across there. They make the bridge look so big and massive, even if it's only like 2 feet long. I had a buddy had a really nice stone viaduct on his land. He had hand carved, and it was about maybe 3 arches. Seems like it. It was about 2 feet long, but it looked massive.
Bill Fusion just typed in a real groaner. Do bridge builders suffer from fallen arches?
We can fix you up with it'd be about 18 and a half, 18 and 3/4 inches to the right top of the rail.
I'd have to lower my bridge section, my gate. I have to put it down here somewhere to accommodate that.
About 50,
Now, if that bridge was anything like the one that they built here in Toronto, the architect who built the bridge built it long before our subways were put in,
Yeah.
and the top of it is roadway, and when you look through your small arches there, there's another layer where our subway goes through, just below the road surface. So that's kind of doable. Because I do have the 2 levels there.
I've had people ask. I said I didn't know it's about 32 inches to the top of the rail from the riverbed.
Wow.
Yeah, but I decided to change the color slightly. My original color was it was a little too gray, showing up very much like new concrete when you photograph it. So I changed the mixing of my folk art paint, chalk paint, where before I was going about 3/4 Parisian gray to about 1/4 oatmeal. I've changed it to about half and half. And I'm getting just a little bit of, I don't know, it looks like I could see a little bit of a brown tone to it.
And you're talking house paint, am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah. The reason I say that, a lot of guys try and buy model paint to do stuff like this, and a lot of stuff around the layout where you can use regular house paint, latex paint.
Yeah, you can throw the water. You can throw the water to the stuff if you're putting it on plaster or something. And house paint.
All the color in my fascia is house paint that I went to Home Depot and had them tint it to the color I wanted, and then I rusted it.
Let's see.
Yep.
Folk art home decor, and it's chalk. I tried the flat house paint. I mean the ceiling paint, the flat, as flat as I could get it. And it was still too much gloss for me. This chalk paint seems to be doing the trick. Really just knocking down any sheen whatsoever.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I'd say I need to buy some of that, try some of the chalk paint out.
And it's about, when it comes out of there, it's about the thickness of pudding. I wish it was thinner so I could spray it, but
you can.
You can thin it about as thin as you want, really. Spray the same stuff. You need to quit buying single gallons of the brown paint because I go through it fiercely making the ground goop stuff. I need to buy that in a 5-gallon jug. I spent as much money on paint as everything else in here. I probably bought 10 gallons of the stuff.
yeah, and the house paint that I had mixed, it was supposed to be like a gray or a concrete color, but it was looking too blue to me. Way too blue. In fact, I got a section on the other side that still got some of it, and it's kind of like I can readily tell. But it seems like putting on the 3 layers, or covering the first layer a mistake, and then coming over with a gray, and now going with something that's more of a oatmeal color, seems to be doing the trick.
Yeah, I read this idea that trees are brown and concrete is gray, and they're both a little bit more of a mix than anything else. Trees are much more gray, roads are much more brown than we think they are.
BNSF 1982. That's exactly where I got the paint for this. I bought a small sample jar. I think it cost me up here in Canada cost me $4, and I've done 3/4 of my fascia with that little jar.
Right now I'm kind of alternating between finish one half of one arch section, and that gets to be enough. Then I go around and make some trees and plant them. And it's okay, that's enough planting trees. Now I'll go back to painting.
And then when that gets tedious, you go back to planting trees. See, now all the actual size of trees that we talk about, Andy, because most of the manufacturers make the trees that you can buy for your layout make them too small. They're not to scale. And if you were to put them in proper perspective, like a house is what, maybe 25 feet tall, 30 feet tall, and then you have a tree outside, a big maple tree that could be as much as 70 feet tall. And if you did that with your bridge, I think it would start to dwarf the bridge. The best way to show that bridge off is to use the scale trees that you can buy, because then it makes the bridge look big.
Well, so far from what I'm seeing right here, I'm kind of pleased with the way these trees are turned out, even though most of them are sedum.
And what's the maximum height you're using? 5-6 inches?
About 6 inches, which is going to be about 40 feet.
Yeah.
And I did some research on the height of the trees
in the
area, and they're about 40 to 50 feet.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get it in perspective. So the biggest problem I'm going to have is when I get to the top of the hill, like I was talking with Andy the other night, is those are the ones I'm probably going to have to make out of floral wire and do some work, because those are, if you stand up and you're looking down on top of the canopy.
Right.
But when you get to the top of the hill, that's where you'll see, the overall structure of the tree.
Yeah, Chris Ray just said good night, gents.
Yeah. Okay. Did you look into doing any vines or something growing off the footings of growing up the footings of your bridge?
Not yet.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Consider looking at this stuff. It's Woodland Scenics. It's called foliage. Yeah. Comes in the 3 different colors: light green, medium green, and dark green. But the nice thing about this is, where's that white piece of paper? That's not going to work. Anyway, I don't know whether you can see the small fibers that are in this.
Yeah.
You pull this apart,
yeah,
and you can string it out and make vines.
Yeah, I looked at as far as some of the details on this right through here. I don't know if that shows up or not.
Yeah.
Down. Right in this area, right here.
Yeah.
And where the pier meets the arches.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the photos and any of the videos I looked at on the bridge, that's an area where it looks like some of the concrete is spalled away, so you're getting some rust running down.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll probably be the first order of weathering. Maybe after I'm still debating on a very thin wash of 91% or rubbing alcohol and some India ink just to darken it a little bit, just to lightly weather it.
Go real light on the India ink, because you're putting it on basically a white surface.
Yeah.
if you have to do 2 layers, it's better that than put on too much in 1 layer.
What I'm thinking of is airbrushing that. I'm going to see. I'll start with like maybe just a drop in a cup and isopropyl leveling alcohol.
Do that. Put 1 drop of India ink in there, or less than 1 drop. That India ink, boy, that stuff. I like it. I use it, but you can't put much.
If it looks too much, then I'll look for a different. My first thought is, okay, you got some of this buried. Once I pull this out, I'll try it on the parts that are buried in the base.
Yeah,
looks.
Oh, that's right, because your bridge comes apart for transport.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And yes, Eric, you're hearing things. There's no cat on the show. No, there is a cat. That's Andrew's supervisor, telling him to get back to painting.
Oh, sure. So now he mutes his mic. Are you mad at us?
Of course not.
Oh, okay.
Not all of you, anyway.
Well, Chris has gone to bed, so you can be happy again.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you what, we done hit about the hour 12 mark, and I got to make a run down the road. So, I think we'll put this one to bed.
Okay, John.
Anybody else got anything real quick? I said real quick.
Don't ask Andy. Don't ask Andy.
That's right. That includes me.
Alrighty. Well, let me switch this thing back over. See if it's going to switch. Yep, that switched alright. Why that come up so small, I have no idea. Anyhow, you can see it anyway. Alright, go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com. There you can check schedules for the shows. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're in the summer season, so we're running a little light on shows right now, but that's okay because everybody's taking vacations and all. Some of us are getting ready to go to Kansas City, Missouri next month for the convention out there. Andy and I will be there, and Big Bridge Andy here, he'll be there too, so you want to make sure to check out his bridge in person. I know I'm going to get back there where it's at and do some videos of it. Come back with it, so look around for us. I'll have my YouTube shirt on. If you see us, stop us, say hey. Be glad to talk to you. And next week, yeah, it's going to be a Wednesday, July the 18th, is Who Is Big Bill Talking To? And he's going to have Ron Perry on the show with him, so that'll be interesting. So with that said, guess we'll see y'all next Wednesday night for Big Bill's show. So everybody have a good night and a good weekend. Be safe. Do not walk on the train tracks.